Hey everybody, if you found your way to one of my videos, it's likely you're interested in learning how to connect across the veil. Well, I just finished doing a reading and it's one of these moments where I'm just sitting here so filled with gratitude. I asked my client in advance, "What's your intention today?" She said, she got a little teary. She said, "I want to connect with a specific loved one." Well, I love that. She's not giving anything away. I don't need to know it because those in spirit are just right here. And I tuned in and I got pulled over here where I normally feel fathers. I felt this man. I described a bit of personality and I said, "And the one you wanted to hear from is your dad, isn't it?" And she goes like this. It could have been mom, grandmother, grandfather, child, partner, but boom, spirit knows what you need. It's just such a blessing when it comes together like that. So turns out y'all have been pretty much enjoying the video series I've been doing lately about the top 5 type of lists. So I have a list for you today. I know you're going to love it if you've been drawn to my work, and it is the top 5 practices that strengthen your spirit connections. If I could make confetti go up on the screen, I would right now because I can feel everybody getting excited about that one. Isn't that what we want? Boy, I know when I was a baby medium, I would have just jumped over backwards to get a list of the things that could strengthen my spirit connections. So having connected with thousands of souls, just coming off the heels of a beautiful connection right now, I'm going to go through that list for you. You ready? All right, here goes. Number 1, these are not in priority order at all. They're just all right up there with ways that will help you connect more clearly, whether you're a medium or not. Daily stillness. And like it says there, if only 5 minutes. How did I open my connection to the spirit world? I didn't know I was destined to be a medium. I'm a retired Navy commander. If anybody had told me back when I wore a uniform that I would be a medium, I would have thought they were crazy. But when my stepdaughter Susan passed, I knew that if I was going to connect with her, if she existed, and she sure does, I needed to get quiet and listen for her and look for her, not just hope that she would appear in front of me, which I hope that too, but I carved out time every day. And sometimes it was only 5 minutes. Usually it was about 10 to 20 minutes. To this day, I sit about 10 to 30 minutes every single day. So once you start making a connection, you won't want to stop because that stillness is so important. Why? It quiets the brain from the normal chatter. Our brains are programmed to keep us on alert, to keep us feeling separate, to keep us looking out for threats, to pay attention to all these thoughts that are in our mind, all the attractions out here. So if we just set aside time every day, like it says, only a few minutes a day, what a difference that makes in our whole energy field. We come into a state that's called coherence, where our heart and our brain waves are in sync, creating a state of calmness, a feeling of wholeness. It's absolutely proven that the more time you spend sitting in stillness, the left brain's activities of analyzing and feeling separate and telling stories and narrating and all of those things that it's known for dampen a little bit. And the right brain's state of flow and knowing everything is connected and tuning in intuitively activates. So, because the left brain in most of us is normally predominant, sitting in stillness, just focusing on your breath and noticing what's arising brings the two into balance. You can't help but feel the difference. And the beautiful result is that that carries over throughout the day. So check out my video called Sip of the Divine, where SIP stands for Sit in Peace. And I believe on my website under meditations and possibly on my YouTube channel, I've actually created a Sip of the Divine practice where I don't talk the whole time. You can go through it with me there and then come up with your own ritual of simply sitting still and asking spirit to tell you something you don't know or whatever will be helpful to you that day, or simply spend that time with gratitude, noticing how the mind wants to wander. This will just make a world of difference in strengthening your spirit connections. So many people say to me, "I'm not getting anywhere. I just don't feel my loved one." And I ask them to be honest. Are you carving out stillness every day? That's not discipline. That's commitment. How about an even better word? That's devotion. Your heart knows your loved ones still exist. So find the time. I make the time first thing in the morning before the day gets away from me. My husband knows that that's sacred time for me. When he doesn't sit in the stillness. That's his path. But what's really funny is when I'm off on travel, he'll come into here, my meditation room, and he sits in my meditation chair so that the dogs have their daily ritual because they accompany me every morning. So please try the practice, do the sip of the divine for at least 3 weeks and see how that changes things for you. All right, so moving on to the second top practice that will help strengthen your spirit connection, conscious breathing. So important to be aware of the breath. You're being breathed by spirit. You can't stop breathing for more than a minute or so, and the body takes over. Is that just a body reflex? It is a body's reflex, but it's also the fact that your soul knows you have reason to be here and you're still here. So that's why I say you are being breathed. When you can just pay attention to your breath, that brings you to a state of presence right away with no effort. I practice a breath called vagus nerve breathing. That's in my book, The Awakened Way, where you breathe in through the nose very slowly. If you think you're breathing slowly enough, slow it down even more. And then exhale longer than you inhaled through the mouth. Calmly, slowly relax with the intention of relaxing as you do it, of releasing tension. And notice how much better you feel after only one breath. Why is this important to increasing your connection with spirit, with higher consciousness? Because that will bring you into, again, the state of presence, but also a coherent energy field. And that's what we need for good spirit connections. If you're enjoying this, I do hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Why do I say this? Because then if you click notify, you get notified every time that I post a new video, which is pretty much twice a week. You can join me live on Sundays for my podcast, Always Connected, noon Eastern time. Moving on. We can stop that one from running now. Okay. To the third practice that will help strengthen your spirit connections. Oh boy. Gratitude directed outward. Probably, if you've been on this path long enough, you know why gratitude is important. It generates coherent waves in your energy field. And again, those in spirit need your energy field to be coherent, not jagged, fragmented, which is incoherence. So gratitude has been proven scientifically by organizations that study coherence to bring you into a coherent state. But more than that, it also brings you to a state of connection that you have things to be grateful for. I had a little, what do you call that? When you put something on the wall and it's permanent there, not a picture. You apply it to the wall. I can't remember the word right now, but I had one on the wall that said, there's always something to be grateful for. And I have a gratitude buddy. Every night before going to sleep, I try to remember to send a text and say what I'm grateful for. She does the same back at me. And sometimes it's hard to think of just one thing, and sometimes it's hard to think of anything, but the practice of finding gratitude every day keeps you in a higher state, which again is what spirit world needs to connect with you. Now, this directed outward part is super important because we radiate our energy to the field that we're a part of. Those in spirit, those of higher consciousness, non-physical beings, resonate with what you're sending outwards. So feel the feelings of gratitude, find something specific that you're grateful for, and send it out in a nod to the fact that we are all connected. All right. Beautiful. How about the fourth of 5 things to help increase your spirit connections? I love this. Speaking internally as if already connected. I just showed my client that her father is with us. He brought through beautiful evidence. She is a very left brain person and said, that's pretty amazing. And I said, you understand that he's right here? And I gave her a real quick tutorial about resonance, and I said that every time you think of your dad, he feels that. It's like two tuning forks lighting up. And sometimes when you think of him, any of you think of your loved ones, it's because they're thinking of you and lighting you up in awareness. So I said to her, now understand you don't need a medium to talk to your dad from now on. It's really helpful because you hear things that you don't expect and they get to say their messages and you know that you're not just making it up. But I said, talk to him. He hears you anytime because of that shared relationship. So the more you carry on a conversation with your loved ones regularly, that increases your inner knowing that they're here. That brings you more into resonance with your loved one, and you'll start to sense them more. But my guides just put in my ear just now, make sure you all understand that does not mean to keep up a steady dialogue. That is not going to keep them more present. Just normally throughout the day, make it a habit, and you'll come to know you are already connected. All right, gonna move on now to the last of 5 practices. There are many, but we're doing these lists of 5. You can find more on my channel that strengthen your spirit connections. It's last but not least, acting on the small nudges. That inner feeling, you could call it intuition, you could call it a knowing that there's something that would be good to do. There's a choice that would result in something good. Where's that coming from? From higher consciousness, either a loved one who has passed or from your guides or from your own higher self that have a wider lens, a bigger picture. And surely you've had those moments where you don't act on the nudge. And it's one of these, oh my God, if only I had done that. I had one of those the other day. So they still happen to all of us. Yeah, ruined my iPad keyboard. I shouldn't put this bottle of water in with my iPad, and I did it anyway. So yeah, we all have those, but not only to avoid having those hit yourself in the head moments, but because the more you act on them, the more you notice the feel, you learn to trust, and it becomes just a way of being that you know that inner voice is how you are connected to higher consciousness. And it's showing higher consciousness, whoever it is, loved ones, guides, angels, I trust you, I will listen, bring it on. And those messages will come more often the more you trust and act. So how's that? Hope these proves helpful for you. Let me run through them again for you real fast. You can rewind if you want, if it was useful. But we have daily stillness, conscious breathing, gratitude directed outward, speaking to your loved ones or guides as if you're already connected because you are, and acting on those small nudges. Can't you see how this will lead to just a much more a life of feeling the presence of non-physical consciousness, knowing what my guides tell me every day, you are so very loved. And to that end, could I add a 6th one? Read something uplifting every day. If you don't know what to read, download my free app. Go to Awakened Way, and you'll feel the vibration of spirit with a fresh message downloaded each morning right here and put in that app for all of us. And if you want to have some fun with spirit, press the Ask for Guidance Now button from the heart saying, what do I need to know right now? Connecting with higher consciousness, and see which of the thousands of messages in there comes up. Is the date significant? Is the message significant? Is the picture significant? And that's going to keep you just remembering you're not only human, you're part of one big web connecting all that is, and love is that connective tissue. Thanks so much for joining me.